What's going on, Thigh fans? We are back with Doug and Jinh. And if you've been paying attention, we are on the last leg of the trip through 3 different countries. So Doug, Jinh, bring us on home. I think we're going into Switzerland now.
We're in the third leg of the trek.
We've gotten most of the way through Italy, and the last day it starts raining. Like most of the day, we walk through rain. We cross into this over the Swiss border, and then we make camp for the night, and we check the weather. And actually, it's like just rain forecasted for like the next 3-4 days. And actually, some of the mountain passes, they're seeing snow. And so we actually opt to go ahead and take a train or take a bus into a city and just stop there because, this was supposed to be a summer trek and we didn't bring like winter gear.
Gotcha.
They're seeing snow in some of the mountain passes. They're talking about really bad lightning as well. So at this point, it's like, okay, we didn't pack and we're not prepared for this. Like we have shorts, we have t-shirts. This is supposed to be
we
a
had like
trek.
some like long thin pants and long sleeve
like
shirts for
wonderful.
the house, but like nothing like wool or anything like that would keep us well insulated for something like that. Because again, this is summer. It's a summer trek.
Yeah, they're talking about really bad lightning as well. So at this point, it's like, okay, we didn't pack and we're not prepared for this. Like we have shorts, we have t-shirts. This is supposed to be
we
a
had
summer
like
trek.
some like long thin pants and long sleeve
like
shirts for the
wonderful.
house, but like nothing like wool or anything like that would keep us well insulated for something like that. Because again, this is summer. It's a summer trek.
Yeah, so like just not prepared for constant rain and snow. So we're like, okay, at this point, we took a bus into a city called Martigny, which was not on the itinerary, but we stopped there and we get into town. And in Europe it's pretty common for them to like shut down for the day and like things don't open back up. Like they'll shut down for lunch and then they're closed for a couple hours and then everything comes back and opens like in the evening. So when we get into Martigny, most everything is closed, but we're pretty hungry. And we're walking up and down like the main street. We see all these great looking restaurants. Nothing is open. And so we get towards the end of the street where the train station is, and Doug spots a Subway.
Yeah, I'd seen the Subway when we had gotten off the train, and I was like, fuck it. We're hungry. Let's go into Subway and get a bite to eat because it's going to be a couple more hours before the city opens back up.
Right.
And so we each got a Subway sandwich, some chips. Yeah.
Which was, it was like so ridiculously expensive.
I bet I was going to ask you how expensive was it?
I mean, I think we drove like $20-25 for like
stuff. Like it was ridiculous.
Outrageous.
Yeah.
But was that euros or was that American?
Well, like
what the exchange rate would have been? It would have been like $25 or $30 total.
American.
Yeah.
For 2 6-inch subs,
Yeah.
Anyway.
They were getting us that day.
Who pays $30 for a Subway sandwich? Anyways.
So I finished my sandwich and I just felt like really bloated, like it wasn't digesting right. And I start to fall asleep, but then I wake up and I'm violently ill. So I have food poisoning. And I'm hugging the toilet, I'm throwing up, like it's coming out of both ends. It's not a good thing, right? For hours. It's bad food poisoning. And finally I get it all out and I'm able to get a couple hours of sleep. And we wake up the next day and it's like, all right, like I'm physically shot from all of that. And but it was okay. Like I was like, yeah, we're in Switzerland. Let's go. I think we went and checked out the Saint Bernard Museum that day and got to because that's where the Saint Bernards originated, was Martigny, Switzerland. Really? And so we got to learn about the Romans that had been the first to have an outpost in Switzerland, and that was Martigny was their
there was
outpost.
like some ruins there in the city that you could go and see.
Yeah, we went and saw some Roman ruins, ancient Roman ruins in the city, and visited a medieval castle. We had a good day, and I was over my 12-hour food poisoning incident.
Right.
So now it's time to get back into France for.
It was a nice day, and so we decided to jump back on the trail and do like the last leg of the trail.
And you were about 100%. You were good. You were well enough to know, leaving civilization, so to speak, you would be able to be okay.
Well, the town wasn't far from the trail,
Mm-hmm.
so we could just hop back on from the town.
Okay.
And we were just gonna do a day trek. Like we didn't take all our stuff with us. We were just
Mm-hmm.
gonna trek like the trail that we would have trekked, you know, to finish up.
Now, mind you, we've made it back into France now. So
Okay.
we've gone from Switzerland back into Chamonix, France, and that's where we did the last little trek. Where it was the next day. Yep.
Oh, well,
and
this sounds like it might be okay. All right.
Oh, here we go.
Right.
So we drop off most all of our gear at our final little spot there in the mountains, and we just take a day pack, and we're starting to trek up this other mountain, and we get all the way to the top, and there's an option in this part where you can do the cable car. Again, this is a mountain town in Chamonix, France. So you have the ski lifts up and down, or
right.
We call it mountain trolleys up and down. But we were like, nah, you know, we're gonna trek it up, trek it down.
Mm-hmm.
And we trek it
about 3/4 of the way up.
Jinh is starting to feel the effects of food poisoning. And so like what had happened with me just 24 hours prior was now having like this late onset into Jinh.
Yeah.
We get to the top of the mountain. I enjoy the view. Yeah. Jin's pretty fucking miserable at this point.
Like 3/4 of the way up, my stomach starts hurting. Like I start getting like short of breath. Like I am struggling to get up. And Doug's just like, "Do you want to go back down?" And I'm like, "Well."
Of course, Jin's like, "No."
Well, no. I was like, "We're 3/4 of the way up. Obviously, it's closer just to go up than it is to go down. So that up is hard, but it's a lot closer than the down."
Yeah.
So once we get up there, there's a little hut at the top. And so I run to the bathroom and immediately start getting sick in that bathroom. And so, you know, after 5-10 minutes, I come out and I'm like, we got to take the cable car down. Like, we're done. We got to go back down. And so we get in the car, the cable car, and it's packed, like shoulder to shoulder. And it's like a 2-minute ride down or whatever. And about halfway, like I start breaking out in a sweat, like that trying to take deep breaths and cool myself off. And I tell Doug, I was like, I'm about to throw up. And so we actually had a bag that had like, you know, just like
some snacks in it,
some fruit and some snacks in it that we had purchased.
A paper bag.
That's
a paper bag.
Paper bag.
And so he gives me the paper bag.
Here's a paper bag.
Yeah.
A week now, a week paper bag, I imagine.
Yes. Yeah. And so, and I kneel down because I'm trying to like give myself some space, some breathing room. And I ended up just like throwing up in this bag, and we're just packed in there. Like, it was. And it's literally like 10
And I'm like, I don't know her. I don't know her.
Who is this American woman here? Who is this?
It is like literally like 10 seconds before we get to the end. Like I see it and I'm like, I'm trying to hold it in, but I'm just like, I start throwing up in this bag. And as soon as the doors open, like I bolt out and just like run, you know, for the bathroom. And, you know, I'm in there for a couple minutes getting sick. So then I come out and I'm like, Doug, we got to get back. Like,
it's like, but we have about 45 minutes to walk across town to our room.
You still have to. Okay, so the trolley doesn't take you to town.
No, it just takes you to a little spot, and then city center-ish, and then you got to walk wherever you're staying. Yeah, to the hotel or to the room we had rented.
How many hours have gone by?
What's up?
How much time has gone by since you guys were almost to the top and you were starting to feel those symptoms to now?
30 minutes, maybe.
Okay.
30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and we had like bus passes because like in a lot of those towns, if you're a tourist, they'll give you a pass that's good for like public transportation. Like in Switzerland, like it is so easy to get around like as a tourist. Anyway, so we had these passes for the bus, and we just see a bus and we're like, we don't even know what the route is, but we're just going to jump on this bus to hopefully get us further. And then, you know, we only make it through like 2 stops. And I'm like, Doug, we have to get off now. And he's like, why? We're almost there. And I'm like, we have to get off like now. And so, and I'm like, Doug, we have to get off now. And he's like, why? We're almost there. And I'm like, we have to get off like now. And so we have to jump off, run into a restaurant. Doug has to buy a beer.
We run into another hotel that has a restaurant. And Jinh immediately goes to the bathroom. And they're like, are you guys staying here? It's like, no. I was like, but I'll have a beer. You know,
so you want to make it seem a little more courteous.
For our time here.
Yeah. And I'm glad that Doug sacrificed for the greater good so you could use the restroom.
Yeah,
for sure. Enjoyed a nice, tasty beer.
Yeah,
we
ended up having to make
sick.
so many pit stops on the way home, and we finally get back to our hotel. But
Yes, that was it. We finished up the Tour de Mont Blanc, and I think we ended up getting what, like 75 miles or
like 75. I think of the 108.
Yeah.
Just because of like the rain and all that, we ended up just skipping. We decided to skip walking through the rain for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. Now we're flying back out of Geneva, so we get back into Geneva. We've got an evening there. We go out to is it Le Mans? Is that what they call it? Where the water spout is?
Jet Dieu.
Jet Dieu. Oh, I was way off on that one.
That was Scotland.
Jet Dieu. Yeah, that's right. Le Mans is in Scotland.
You guys have been to a lot of cities, a lot of countries. I think we give you a pass on not knowing every single.
What's good is like one of us is gonna forget one of it, but the other one has the details. We have our evening in Geneva, and it's a beautiful night. And there's like a little festival, and there's like this guy. He's he was African, and he was playing this like gourd string instrument. Okay. And I'll tag you in that photo too, because I took a quick little clip of him, and he sings like, and he's like, and I was like, it was so cool, like the sound, his voice, the way the music was.
He was getting down.
It was really cool.
And Doug was jamming.
Okay, because I was going to ask you about that. Anytime there's music, and you guys are out, Doug is out there moving some kind of way. His body is into it.
Yep, I'm in it. But yeah, that summed up the adventure. The next day we ended up flying back home and having that adventure check marked off.
Well, it's so funny because, anytime you guys are around somewhere where there's music and there's nobody participating, Doug is the number one guy to say, come on, everybody, let's get out here. Let's show this guy some love.
Yep.
And what is Jinh doing? Sure. Jinh just sipping a beer like, I don't know that guy right now.
She's like, you go do you.
You do your thing.
So, it's amazing on these adventures, but, when your body is reacting in such a way, you're trying to fight, whatever projectile might be coming, seconds turn into hours. With those doors opening, you're like, just let me fight it. Come on, all this training I've done, I know how to get the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
Well, does it tell you just really how vulnerable we really are in those situations? How we cannot control everything.
Those are things that you just can't account for. Like you can't say
traveling's amazing, but there's always some shit. And it happened to us in Peru too. And then I like broke out in shink. Like I ended up.
Let's save that adventure for the next time. That adventure, we have Peru the first time. We have Peru the second time. And so let's save those adventures for the next one.
Okay. All right.
We got the one where we're taking the group photo, and I'm missing it. Took the trip down the mountain. So you have two photos, one where I'm not in it, the other one where I'm not. Oh yeah, we're recapping some of the adventures on those. But yeah, we'll get with you on that one for sure next time.
All right, well guys, you know what? I want to say thank you so much for taking us on the unrated version of your trips. It would have been so easy to leave some holes in the story. And I think that's how kind of we are in life. We want to tell the story the best, fantastic way, and so much excitement, but they leave some holes out. But you guys didn't leave any holes out. You guys
details, bro. Details.
Like you'll see some amazing things, but there's always like these periods that are so stressful, especially when you go to countries where you don't speak the language, or the language or the alphabet's completely different from English. Like you can't even try to figure out what it's saying. Right. So you always have like really stressful moments in travel, but that's part of the experience. Because now it's like obviously getting food poisoning in a cable car, is probably pretty terrible, but it's like now we can look back and laugh and like, I can't believe I threw up a cable car in Switzerland. But
the story wouldn't be as exciting traveling to 3 different countries if you left the cable car story out, or the silk panty story out.
Yes.
There's just that little detail in it that makes the story that much more enjoyable or humorous.
Yep, for sure.
Our misfortune is here for your entertainment.
Oh.
I tell you this, we've never eaten at a Subway since then.
Okay, there we go. That's the
Subway
big
died in our
takeaway.
lives in Martigny, France, or Martigny, Switzerland.
That's the big takeaway. Why don't you guys want to go to Subway? Hey, let me tell you,
Yeah,
sit down.
pass.
I'll tell you.
I will starve.
Well, cool. Listen, I cannot wait to bring you guys back in here and we go down to Peru, and we hear about the misfortune and just the beautiful landscape and the people that you guys get a chance to talk to.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap it up with this. The blends, I know I've seen you work out at a couple of different schools, Doug. You're really pumping the blends. You're getting a lot of collaboration with other schools. How's that going for you?
It's going really great. So we've been working a lot with Johnny Bedford at Fitness Fight Factory. He's got Valerie Soto, who we love. We've been cross training with her for several years now, and her and Jin work really well together. So Johnny and I are we're passing down knowledge to Jin and Valerie and overseeing a lot of their training together. But at the same time, this last weekend I hosted a female fighter mini camp. I had pro fighters from 4 different schools in Texas that came through and showed out and represented their schools really well. And we had a really good 3 sessions between that Saturday and Sunday, and we watched the fights together at a spot in Fort Worth, and it was nice, good camaraderie and good energy, and got to again pass down some of the knowledge that I've obtained over these years.
I think that's kind of the coolest thing is, 2020 has just been, there's so many ways to describe 2020, man, but yet it's opening doors and opportunities for you to really give that tutelage and that focus for your craft, for the both of you.
Certainly.
And I think with you, Jen, 2020 has been so many highs and lows, but now you have a chance to come up to your fight and you get a full fight camp going into your fight. How relieving is that?
It's good. It's good, and also, I hopefully this time, I don't have like the UFC jitters. Like hopefully all of that's behind me. I can just come in, focus on the training, come in and fight without having to deal with the first time jitters and being nervous and, kind of just not knowing how things work and that sort of thing. So I'm excited.
Right on. Well, I know you're excited also because we were just talking about this on our last break, is that on the spectrum of your own trading card, which is pretty awesome. You have your own, and it's a hologram card too, right?
They've done like quite a few. So there's like some that just have my autograph. There's some that I had a special inscription for. There's some that are holograms. There's some that have like a little piece of my fight gear. Like they cut out like, because I sent them some of my fight gear and they cut out like a little piece of it and it's attached to the card. So they've done like a number of different things with them. I don't even know what all they've done. I just like people will tag me in cards that they find, and so
we'll both be like, "Oh my gosh, look at this one!
Cool.
Look at this one!"
If you guys want to thank, I'm going to say thank you guys first of all for coming out here, making time.
I'd like to thank myself. Just kidding.
I'd like to thank me for putting on all this hard work.
You
saw that acceptance speech, and I was like, "Feel yourself, Snoop. Feel yourself, bro."
Well, somebody has to get up there and do the whole Matthew McConaughey, all right.
All right.
Well, guys, you have a good night, man.